I have another story on the impact of how you can change someone's life. And it is the simplest gift of giving your time. There is a mindful moment we have on our website on the importance and value and impact of giving your time as a gift to someone else. It's maybe one of the greatest gifts you can give. And this comes from working with a client from about 4 years ago. We started engaging an organization that had been acquired by one of our clients. And one of the individuals on the team was employee number 2 in the company. Not in title or responsibility. He had been there almost since the beginning. A tremendous amount of tribal knowledge. A lot of people would say he knows where the bodies are buried, so to speak. He just has a tremendous amount of perspective and insight to share. He happened to be a storyteller and tended to be very long-winded and would oftentimes take a long time to get to his point. And unfortunately, people in the organization really had started to tune him out, which is unfortunate because he has a tremendous amount of insight. And when I first started working with him, the first 3 or 4 times he and I were together, I just listened. I sat back. I took it all in. I wanted to learn from his knowledge and experience, the evolution of the organization and the culture. And so I just listened. And then we ended up having some really good conversation and dialogue. And I asked him some questions I asked him to describe the types of personalities on the leadership team around him. And a word that he used pretty commonly was impatient. And so then I took that and he and I started having conversation around the importance of being concise, getting the attention of your audience. I used an example with him. I said, if I had a question I really wanted and needed to ask you, but it was a Friday afternoon at 4 o'clock, or I had a meeting coming up in 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I may not come ask you. I may miss out on tremendous insight, perspective, and value because I don't have the time. And unfortunately, people start tuning you out. And so I worked with him a lot on condensing his message. I worked with him a lot on putting his answer, his opinion, his feeling first and supporting his premise or opinion with a couple pieces of information that support it rather than all of it. And we saw him get so much better at executive presence. We saw this individual get much better at telling a story without giving all of the detail. We started seeing people really leaning in to conversations with him, wanting to benefit from his perspective. He became a great teacher and mentor in the organization. And he went from feeling dejected. I think this was probably the most rewarding part for me, is he went from feeling dejected, devalued, and unimportant, and second guessing himself and the lack of confidence that comes from that, and saw him get re-energized, find tremendous value and happiness in teaching and coaching others. And so that's just another example and a story of the impact you can have and how you can change someone's trajectory, their happiness, their fulfillment, or their life when you take the time to listen and let somebody feel heard.